The judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision.
And still, ladies and gentlemen, and still, the Undisputed African Fighting Podcast champion of the world. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends, brother Gaia.
What's happening? What's happening? I'm good, my friend. I'm good. We here. We live. Make some money.
Let's make some money. First UFC event of the year. And
Yeah.
we got those picks for you guys. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the main event. And we'll give our parlay picks at the end of the show.
Of course.
And of course, just reminding everybody to please like the stream or like the video if you're not watching it live. Subscribe, all those good things. And
Let's
we'll get into, I don't know what's happening here.
A bit rusty, you say?
But rusty, yeah, I'm still
Being
a bit
rusty.
rusty to the interface, yeah, bro. But anyway, let me get that up on stage here. And we'll just talk a little bit about the main event. PG, I know you did, of course, do your in-depth analysis before we did the stream today. early on in the week. But yeah, maybe you could just give us a very quick who and why for the main event here, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Look, firstly, I want to say that this UFC fight card is a very good one to kick off the UFC calendar. I think a lot of the fights in this card is amazing. Even though we didn't get the Addison and Amanda Nunes fight, I still think that the main card is stacked, and even early prelims is good as well. But for this main event, I must be honest, I spent a lot of time having to convince myself of what I'm choosing here because up until today, I actually had since the announcement of the fight, I actually had a difficult time choosing a winner. I just didn't know who to go with. I was like, it's a tough one to pick because Justin Gaethje is a legend. Let's be honest, he's an absolute legend and stud and has beaten the best guys. He's only really fought against the best guys since coming into the UFC. Hasn't really fought outside of the top 10. So, got to give this man a lot of respect and props for doing what he's doing. And it's also going to be his second attempt at the interim title. So, got to give him that respect. But I do think that Paddy is in that phase of his career now where this is an opportunity that presents itself to, if you beat Justin Gaethje here, it basically sets off the next chapter of your career. Like you now step into the next phase of your evolution. You know what I mean? I think that's what's presenting itself here for Paddy. So to give a quick answer, after all the time thinking, I went with Paddy. And I went with Paddy because there's something that there's a frequent pattern that I've noticed in combat sports, and I think a lot of fight fans or fight enthusiasts will tell you this that follow the sport, that when a fighter starts talking about retirement and saying this is my last hoorah and the end or the finish line is as clear as day, then you kind of know what you're going to get from them, and history has proven that those fighters don't usually go out successful. You know what I mean? The last fight usually ends in them losing the fight because if you're being frank about this, without trying to be an asshole here, um, Justin Gaethje is of the same breed of Dustin Poirier, like 38 years old, and they are more than a shadow version of themselves, less than a shadow version of themselves now. You know what I mean? Like they're not the
Mhm.
same. Gaethje doesn't have the same pop that he has. Doesn't have the same speed. He's fighting a little bit more flat-footed than what he used to fight when he was coming into the thing and making his first title run. You know what I mean? Now he's a little bit more boxing fundamental heavy, even though he always had that. But you can look at Justin Gaethje's earlier fights before he fought Khabib. He was like known as like chaos personified, right? He was the guy that just you go in there, you can expect to come out there being felt like you've been hit with a cricket bat. You know what I mean? That's how Justin Gaethje fights. He makes it a war. And realistically, over the last 2 years, it's not been the same Justin Gaethje. And in that time, what we've gotten is Justin Gaethje progressively leaving the mountain. Like, at the end of the mountain, now he's coming down the mountain. And Barry the Baddy has significantly got him better. Hate him or love him, find his antics foolish, talk about the Jared Gordon fights, all that stuff. Right? Not fighting any top 5 or top 10 fighter outside of Michael Chandler. And also washed Michael Chandler at the same time. But he has grown leaps and bounds. He has showcased a ability to be a better fighter. He's got a better gas tank. He manages distance much better. He's got a brilliant jiu-jitsu game. I will say this though, fundamentally his boxing is still questionable for me because I watched how he hits mitts. I watch him when he's in a fight, and my guy Paddy doesn't move that head a lot. He stays on the center line, and he gets tagged. And Gaethje's going to be the test. Gaethje's going to be the test for him. It's going to be the hardest punch he's going to face since being in the UFC. I don't remember uh, Chandler hitting Paddy with some good hooks or straights or overhands, clean enough to make him feel something. But I think Gaethje's gonna test him with that. And what's gonna prevail here is Cowsers don't get knocked out. He's gonna survive it, bro. He's gonna be able to because he's in that prime stage. Justin Gaethje's 38 years old. He's 31. Paddy's the way the way the biologically how the body works in fight games. Paddy should, in essence, be in the prime figure state of his body right now and should be able to actually tank what Gaethje's going to throw at him. So I think the biggest thing that Paddy is going to have to worry about is the experience of Gaethje, rather than the explosive nature and the durability and the gas tank and all of that. I feel like that's there, but it's not what it was when Gaethje was, say, 31, 32 years old. And I think Paddy is now reaching his final form. That's why I got Paddy for the win that event.
I think you make a very good point about the boxing game, Brian. Yeah, Paddy has been very eatable, and yeah, Gaethje's got the stuff, so there is
Yeah.
a good chance of a KO there. Justin Gaethje might be a live dog for a KO there, as you can see at 4.5.
Yes.
That's plus 550 for our Vegas viewers. Of course, Paddy starting as the favorite here. Decent value for your parlays. Justin Gaethje's almost 3 times your money. So, BG, do you think that's a fair line here, bro?
Sheesh. I thought Gaethje was the favorite. I'm not gonna
Really?
lie. I thought Gaethje was the favorite just because of the caliber, man. Like, former interim champion, fought against only champions, been in numerous title fights, ranked higher, knockout power, all that stuff is there. And Paddy, this is the first time Paddy's gonna face a real contender. Let's be honest, this is the first time he's facing a real contender. Someone that should test him, someone of a caliber of like now you're actually fighting championship level caliber opponents. It's not gonna be a Flash Gordon or Luvitt or any of those clowns that he fought earlier. This is like he's taking on a real caliber opponent here, and I think that should be Gaethje's favorite. The only reason why maybe that's looking like that is because of Gaethje's last couple of performances, right? Losing to Max Holloway, losing to Charles DeBronco, beating Vaziev, who he already had beaten, and then the second fight was even a little bit closer, if you will, than what it was the first time. So it's like, is Gaethje still the same? Can he still knock anybody out? That's the real question, because he lost 5 rounds to Max Holloway, who everyone thought was going to be a pick and nini compared to him, because Max Holloway's coming up in weight and knocked him out. So I can understand maybe that's why they're giving him to price him at 2.9, but still, man, I don't think I can agree with that line. I thought Gaethje was the favorite, to be honest with you.
I mean, that's interesting, bro, because I feel like he's the dog for all the reasons that you mentioned. Is that he's kind of over the hill. He's not as explosive as he used to be. Paddy's on the up. And I think I just feel like you said, bro, the Father Time is undefeated, bro. So I think Justin's over the hill, and I think it's going to show. I think Paddy's going to make easy work of him, bro. I'm worried about that he's going to like retire Justin, bro.
I mean, Justin said this is his last fight, so that means he's saying win or lose. I'm calling it. Yeah.
Oh, did he say that? Okay.
Yeah, in the interview he did. He was like, "This is my last hurrah, so I have to go out with a bang."
The way he finished Michael Chandler was brutal, bro.
Yes, and that's why
you don't want to see Justin go out like that.
And if you looked at Justin's losses in the UFC, right? Let's look at them. TKO'd by Dustin Poirier. Tapped out by Charles DeBronco, tapped out by Khabib Nurmagomedov. You know what I mean? So like, and Paddy, he's an all-American wrestler, but he can wrestle, but he's actually more devastating when it comes to the jits. You know what I mean? And that's what Justin battles. He battles with the jits. You know what I mean? He can't get through that. So I think there's a lot of it is pointing into a Justin loss than it is to a Paddy lose. You know what I mean? But I will say this: I don't think the line should have been 2.9 to 1.6. I think it should have been, what was it? I think it should be a little bit closer than that. Because it's a big step up for Paddy.
1.42, yeah.
Yeah, you see? 1.4 to 2.9. So I think it could have been a little bit closer, in my opinion. I don't think it should have been that big because it's a big fight, bro. We shouldn't be overlooking Justin Gaethje because he got slept by a 145er. You know what I'm saying? The dude still got the stuff. I mean, he took out a Vaziev who, also a guy who hasn't fought in a very long time. The only reason why I think, not the only reason, but the big reason for me, apart from everything that I mentioned, is Gaethje remodeled his boxing over the years because of how his body has grown. You get what I'm trying to say? He's a little bit more Cody Garbrandt-esque, where he doesn't move around a lot. He picks up one spot of the octagon, stays on his front foot, doesn't really switches the stance, and work off that jab. Jab is where he works from. Jab, calf kick, uppercut, jab, overhand right, uppercut. And that's what he's heavily going to be relying on here. And I feel like Paddy is a little bit of a tornado in the octagon, if you're being real. He's a little bit, he's wild and he's unpredictable, and he can create chaos while still staying very much maintaining his energy throughout the fight. And yeah, it's a 5-round fight, guys. My big question here is it's going to be Gaethje's experience, because that's his biggest weapon right now in this part of his career. His experience versus Paddy's. It's my time now. He's off-beat rhythm and his dynamic strikes and weird takedown attempts, and he's impressive top game pressure. It's a big matchup for both guys. But I think because Justin's prefacing this fight as his last fight, like that's already a loss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you should just go on into the fight and not say it's my last hurrah and not play the card of if you don't give me the title shot, I'm gonna retire. Because now you're playing in your hand, we get to see what your hand looks like now. You know what I mean? I feel like you could have kept that card close to his chest. And then even though this is your last hurrah, no one has to fucking know, especially not your opponent. No one has to know. Go in there, put the performance of a lifetime, win or lose, and then make the announcement. Yo, this is my time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But all right then, you're going with Paddy Pimblett. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. So we can take that one off the box, PG.
Let's go.
Any final thoughts on this one before we move on?
Yeah, nah, just very exciting matchup. I hope we don't get any stupid eye gouges or fouls or anything. I hope the fight is clean. We get to have a very good display of martial arts in that fight.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Yeah, and just from my side, I do think Patty, as like you said, the better jiu-jitsu, and he looks to pull guard. And I like that point you made about Justin struggling against the jits.
He does.
So yeah, he does have the weapons to defeat Gaethje, but again, at the same time, bro, like
Excuse me.
Patty's boxing is pretty suspect, there.
That's super questionable.
And
His boxing is okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go.
No, I was gonna add to that. I was gonna say his boxing is okay when he goes forward, but his boxing defense is shocking for someone that's
Yeah.
number 5 in the lightweight division. It's
Yeah,
shocking to have
exactly.
poor boxing defense, in my opinion. He doesn't come back into stance. When he throws the 1-2, the head stays up here. He doesn't let his sort of his hips guide his shoulders and then guide that strike. It's a lot of it is really rigid movements. But I guess that's a jiu-jitsu practitioner for you. That's trying to be a striker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why he overly relies on dynamic movement when he's striking. Just watch. It's like it's weird stuff, man. It's like he creates chaos by doing strange movements with his feet and like how he mimics his shoulder movements and elbows, and it's very unorthodox, if you will. And I think that's very purposefully done because I don't know if he's at this stage in his career he's still got that like tight shoulders and chin up boxing after all these years, 11 almost 12 fights in the UFC, and you still got that boxing defense. So that indicates to me that he hasn't really grown that defense. But for some reason he's still winning fights, bro, and he's still looking deadly. But yeah, I agree. The boxing for me is a big factor because of Gaethje's knockout power and Paddy's bad boxing defense. That's the area in the fight where I think Gaethje could do what Gaethje does.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's almost a certain thing that Paddy's chin's gonna be tested here because he does leave himself to be knocked out, and if
Everyone's hit him. Even King Green hit him.
yeah, and it wouldn't be like far-fetched Justin Gaethje by KO TKO.
Oh, not at all.
Plus 550.
Are you serious?
Maybe a bit of a prop bet there on the night for us there, bro.
Plus 550.
Yeah.
Yo, so you can. That's a very good bet to make if you're choosing Gaethje to knock somebody out. It's like, yes, but here's the thing. When last did he knock somebody out?
Yeah, that's true also. When was the last time he knocked someone out? That's actually a good question. It used to be the highlight reel, bro.
He knocked out Poirier in 2023.
Oh yeah, the head kick. Yeah. Okay.
Then prior to that, it was Tony Ferguson, 2020.
Oh yeah, that was a TKO stoppage.
Yeah. So yeah, he was he beat Chandler decision. Oliveira tapped him out. Fiziev majority decision. Knocked out Dustin. Max knocked him out, and then he beat Fiziev again by decision. And I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier when I was mentioning the things of why I think Gaethje is not the same anymore. And that was one of the big things as well for me. That's why I said he remodeled his boxing. Just watch it again.
Yeah.
He doesn't go in there and create the chaos to get that knockout shot where he hunts you down, leg kick, pull right there, and Gaethje out, little backflip. Now he's more hands are in tight here, keeping the stance nice and steady, not a lot of wasted energy, and he works with that jab to get the defense down, and then he throws his heavier shots. He really reworked the way he boxes now for the way he moves his body. Because he knows he doesn't have that same pop in his step anymore that he did when he had, let's say, 7 years ago. It's not the same.
For sure. So yeah, interesting main event there. Let us know your thoughts. Chat. We got 2 people watching here. Let us know your thoughts. But anyway, bro, we can move to our newly minted co-main event, like you mentioned. Man, you
Mm.
mentioned Taylor Harrison is off. So Sean O'Malley stepping in here against Song Ayadong. PG, what you got for us here, bro?
Yes, bro. So now again, just like that main event, another fight where I was catching my head, going, "Oh, who's actually gonna win this one?" I think it's closer than what we actually think. And I went and I had to go and look. Yo, what's up, TSPV? I'll shovel some snow. But listening. Check
Hi,
TSPV.
Sean Simpson with listening. What up, TSBV? Shout out to you, bro. Thank you once again for the chat, bro.
Love it.
TSBV shoveling snow in the future. PG.
Yeah, this is one of those fights again where I thought it's a very close fight, and it took me a while because I'm sure you noticed, AD, before putting my parlay together. I was actually willing to leave Sugar Sean out of it because I couldn't convince myself to a decision here of who to pick. So it's that close. I think Song Yadong, people are overlooking Song Yadong because of like maybe the eye poke in the last fight and losing to Piotr Jan, and when he's fought the top dogs, he hasn't really had the biggest results. But I mean, he lost against Cody Sandhagen, but he beat Marais, right? He beat Gutierrez. He did a very good job against Ines Cejudo up until that eye poke. And I think he's actually a high-level fighter in terms of well-rounded game. I think his boxing is his main thing. But I mean, he's been training with Rai for almost 12 years. So he's a top wrestler as well. And I think that's been the primary focus in his camp for this fight was his wrestling. Because that's the blueprint to beating Sugar Sean, right? But Sugar Sean also has good jiu-jitsu. We don't see it enough in the UFC, but the dude does grapple. The dude does have some good jiu-jitsu. It's just when he fought against Marab, but there was no chance for him to showcase any sort of grappling, if you will. But I think Sugar Sean is looking in this fight as an opportunity to really do what he did, what got him to the dance. You know what I mean? The hype that brought him to the dance, that styling on you and that looking away and then throwing a freaking right straight and then you on the ground. And I think we're gonna see that Sugar Sean again, and I think that's what's gonna be the key factor for him in this fight is the dynamic striking that he has and the very good ability to stay away from grappling exchanges. But Ab is literally the only one that's been able to make it difficult for him in terms of worrying about grappling, if you're being honest. Piotr Jan took him down a couple of times.
If he misses,
Right? I'm more interested to see how Song Yadong closes that distance because he's going to have to. I don't think he has a choice but to do that because if he fights on the outside and looks to fight counter striking with the shorter limbs, I don't think he's going to have success doing so because Sugar Sean, let's be honest, is probably outside of Cody Sandhagen, has the nicest footwork to watch in the bantamweight division today. You know what I mean? And that usually wins him all his fights when he won all those fights just because he can dance around you and make you look silly. I think we're going to get a Sugar Sean Marlon Chito Vera 2 performance here in this fight. Even though I'm saying that with so much confidence, don't be surprised to see Song Yadong take the fight to him, guys. I think he's going to because there's also opportunity for Song Yadong. Both these guys would like to have a crack at Piotr Jan again. I think so for sure. I think for Song Yadong, he thought that fight was closer than what people think because he had close striking quarters with him, apart from the grappling where Piotr Jan out-grappled him. Sugar Sean, I think he's obviously thinking, all the fans think I lost the fight against Piotr Jan, so maybe just go and correct it and beat this guy again. I think that reignited the hunger in him, seeing that Piotr Jan is a champion now and beat the guy that he couldn't beat. So a lot of fire under both these guys' asses here to make sure that this fight's actually going to be a lot closer than what we think. And I'm not too sure what the odds look like, but I'm going to go with Sugar Sean on this one.
All right, well, let's go to the odds, bro. And we can see that Sugar Sean O'Malley is 1.48 favorite here. Song Yadong 2.7. Method of victory, bro. Tell me about how you see either of these guys getting it done, if they do.
I don't think either guy can finish each other. Being straight up. Sugar Sean took the best shots from Piotr Jan, got rocked, but fought 5 rounds and fought healthy 5 rounds with him. And Song Yadong took a beating from Cody Sandhagen and from Piotr Jan, and both of them couldn't put him away either. Both these guys are super durable, and both of them are defensively sound fighters. So I don't think it's going to be a finish in this fight. I think we're going to get a 3-round decision. I think Sugar Sean's going to outland him.
Let's go BG. So there we go. Sugar Sean by decision. The bookies will give you double your money. So maybe a good shout there, I think. I think that's a fair call, bro. Do you have any other thoughts on this one?
A big factor that could change all of that, it could be the overwhelming pressure that Song Yudong would most likely apply in this fight. And I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be extensive grappling in this fight here. I think Rai Faber's going to be in his ear and say, "You wrestle this motherfucker. You go in there and you wrestle." Pretty sure
Yeah,
he's
I
gonna
mean,
be-
it has proven to be a game plan that's effective against Sugar Sean. I mean, it's only 3 rounds, so if you can get top position, 2 of the rounds, you could steal it easily, So
You see?
yeah, it's again, and you were saying just before we went on air, bro, how difficult it's been to call this main card on all because there's so many factors that we need to consider.
Ah.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Before we started this live, I was thinking to myself, this is one of the few cards where I feel so what's the word? I don't feel confident. Like I just feel it's so hard for me to choose anything on this card, bro. So hard.
it has been tough, but yeah, we did make some picks, and we will give them to you at the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen, along with those odds. And yeah, hopefully we can all make some money this weekend. But all right, then, BG. Spoke about a lot of factors that we need to talk about. This one is pretty straightforward, I think, in terms of somebody's going to sleep here, or we're going to get 2 drunken uncles fighting each other in a bar, basically. So it's one of the two. What you got for us here, bro? Who's going to get the dub?
So to be quite honest with you, Eddie, I think this fight is actually quite high in terms of technical ability than what we think. We always as sort of fight audiences, we sort of like reduce the heavyweight division to one punch vibes, not a lot of technique, not a lot of training. We're just standing there and we wait for that because we know we don't have a lot of movement, so we can't all be welterweight. So we're gonna wait for that one shot to kill each other, right? But I think I think over time the heavyweight division has evolved, right? There was a time where we had ground and pound specialists, and we had jiu-jitsu specialists being champions, then we had strikers being champions, and I think all of that has gotten to us to this point now where the heavyweight division does actually, we put it under a microscope, they do actually have some high quality fighters in there, and this one, I'm saying this because Eric Lewis has got abs on the screen right now. That's not proof for me. You know what I'm saying? This guy has showcased to me that he went from being a one punch kind of guy to be able to do jumping kicks, capoeira kicks, and then now he can wrestle. You know what I mean? So that shows me that he's also evolving in the sport. At 40 years old, the man's evolved. And I think that might be a factor in the fight that he could deploy here to actually change the dynamic of the fight, right? Because we're all expecting, and even Waldo Acosta's probably expecting, to stand and bang. We're going to box. It's going to be a bar fight, right? And that actually favors Walter Ortiz Acosta. If you look at a lot of his knockouts in the UFC, it's coming from him on the back foot. That means that he takes up the back foot stance, becomes a counter striker. He kind of like banks on you coming at him. It's like he wants you to come at him. Because what you see Waldo does is he does this thing where he keeps the one hand up, depending on what strikes are being thrown, but he will dance with you. He'll do this, and then before you know it, he throws a hook, and then you're down. So you know what I mean? He models his fight style around the chaos of being under siege. You know what I mean? It's a very good counter strike in heavyweight that we have in our hands. But this is where Derek Lewis is actually very good because he's learned his lesson of being forceful or a strike and then being KO'd himself. Lewis has showcased that he can utilize MMA. He can grapple with you if he needs to. I don't know if Waldo Acosta has dealt with grapplers in the UFC so far. I don't know if he's dealt with anyone being taking him down yet. If I'm wrong, but I think he fought Delton Almeida, didn't he? No, he didn't. Yeah, no one's really been able to take this man down. No one has shot on him to really want to take him down. I feel like the experience of Derek Lewis should showcase that. At 40 years old, top-ranked heavyweight guy, I feel like it would be unwise for him if he's going to keep it on the feet. I think he's going to have to mix it up to make this fight at least go into his favor, which then could result in us seeing a 3-round uncle fight, right? So the onus is on Waldo Acosta to be the one to go in there. But I'm going to go with Waldo Acosta. The reason being, I think he's the younger fighter. He's more vibrant. He's on the run. He's on an absolute tear to get to the title run. He's got a lot of knockout power. He's on a massive KO streak at the moment. And I think that the fight, I find him to be more dangerous at this stage in the careers of the two guys. I find him to be more dangerous because of that that striking ability to be defensively striking you and still knock you out. And if he needs to go forward, he can still put you out. But of course, it's going to be more risky for him to do that because of Eric Lewis's overhand right. But yeah, I think to conclude this one, we're most likely going to see someone get finished here. Someone's going to go down. And I think Costa will be the one to have his hand raised.
Yeah, very likely. Yeah. I mean, I think this is actually a very good number, bro, for parlay fodder. I expected this number to be a lot lower, to be honest with you. So the
Yes.
bookies may be giving you a little bit of value there for Lewis and Cortez Acosta not to go the distance. Cortez Acosta looking to make it 3 KOs in a row, so that's
So
1.83. PG?
Sorry, why is the fight to... Oh wait, sorry, not to go the distance. Sorry, I did it wrong. So yeah, it's actually not a bad odd for that one.
Yeah, it was, like I said, I expected that number to be a lot lower, so I think I'm gonna add that to my
Okay.
parlay.
Okay.
Do you have any other words on this one, bro?
No, I just think this is a fight where one of these guys make themselves an argument for either not next in line or number one contender spot. Like, next fight is number one fight for one of these guys. And I think that we're banking on Acosta to win here because yeah, we need fresh challenges, right? And I think he can be a menace for the heavyweight division. But we have to see what it looks like when he gets tested, right? That's the big thing here. We haven't seen him get tested yet, so let's see what it looks like. Yeah.
Fair play, BG. Then we'll move on. I know you didn't give a pick for this one, or this was not part of your parlay, but we got to talk about baby girl now, bro. Is of course Natalia Silva coming up against Thug Rose Nama Yunus. And very similarly to the Gaethje Pimblet fight, we have a stalwart of the organization here coming up against an up and comer, hungry, possible title contender. So, what you got for us here, bro?
Sorry, I'm just looking at this comment now from All Promotions MMA. God, what's up, All Promotions? Let's go.
What's going on, brother? Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're all going Waldo here, it seems like it.
Not alive as well. Take Waldo in rounds 1, 2, plus 1, 3. Like that, you know? Definitely subscribe to your channel.
Of course.
Respect. Thanks for the comments, bro. BG,
Yes, sir.
talk to me here, bro. Tell us how's this one gonna play out.
Yeah, dude, I didn't put this one on the parlay because it's another fight that I had myself scratching my head. It's like, how does this fight play out? Who wins here? You know what I mean? It's difficult to say because Natalia Silva has quietly risen to the top or risen to the to title contention, right? I mean, even the Bullet Valentina was saying, I want Silva next because she deserves it. Like, she's the only one that at this stage in the career that gone on a streak and also hasn't fought Valentina yet. So, you know what I mean? So she also probably thinks that, okay, if I beat Rose here, I'm for sure going to get Valentina next, right? Not Manon Firo. But how does she get that done? Does she do the same thing she did in all the other fights? Does she just kickbox, stay on the outside, kickbox, avoid the takedown, stay out of the way, keep jabbing you to hell, throwing kicks, front karate kicks, you know, the front deep kicks, pushing you out, establishing the range, get on the bike again. But that's how she's been winning all her fights. She's been outstriking women and basically not taking any shots back. Grasso couldn't even land a finger on her for 5 rounds. And she used to, and Natalia got tired in rounds 4 and 5. You could see because that the fight style that she has is a tiring exercise. You basically side hopping from left to right for 25 minutes. You know what I mean? That's exhausting. Where Rose just having to walk you down the whole time, or your opponent has to walk you down, and Rose doesn't have to worry about being taken down. That's been her biggest problem throughout her career. If you look at Rose's losses in her career, apart from being slammed by what's her name? The Brazilian, I keep forgetting her name now. Jessica Andrade. When she did look like she was panicked for fighters when she fought against wrestlers, and she was like, oh, this is a bit uncomfortable for me, right? Which is mad because she's a very good jiu-jitsu player. But because she doesn't have to worry about any takedowns from Natalia Silva, it means she can fight the way she fought Jacek, which is get on the front foot, get aggressive, use the Muay Thai, be hardcore, You know what I mean? Just be super, super, super bullish in there. Fight that way. She's a taller fighter, right? She's got the. I say the reach looks similar, but I mean she's got range on her because she is taller than her. And Rose does fight with that karate base, so she does have the weapons to beat someone like Natalia Silva. So for me, Rose's biggest challenge in this fight is more about what does she do to cut off the geography for Natalia Silva. So once you do that, she's stuck in a corner. When Natalia's stuck in a corner, you kind of see what weapon she recycles, and that's like a 1-2 to get away, or she will throw off a side front kick to push you away to reestablish range so she can start moving again. She doesn't like to stand in the pocket and throw strikes with you. That's not Natalia Silva. She doesn't have the power either to really knock people out, even though she's got some knockouts to her name. But she's also skated her way to this position in this division by staying clean, concise, and not giving up any rounds. So it's going to be about the Almeida and the ball situation in this fight. You know what I mean? And I think Rose is going to be the one of the ball. And the question is, the more rounds go on that she doesn't land those powerful shots on Natalia Silva, the likelihood that she's not going to win this fight. Natalia's going to beat her on decision.
Fair play, BG. Fair play. A lot of good points there. Thug Rose is the biggest underdog on the main card. She's at 4.15, so I think that is plus 500 and some change. So yeah, honestly, bro, I just see Natalia Silva doing what she did to everybody else here, moving those feet and staying on the outside and just outpointing Thug Rose. And the odds are pretty low here on Natalia Silva getting the job done by decision. But I think that is something I'm going to add to my parlay here, because the fight to go the distance is, I don't know if it's worth picking a winner here, but I think Natalia Silva is going to make easy work over here, bro. Just
what you're saying.
Like I said. So yeah,
it's probably better to if you want to increase the odds of a good parlay, it's probably better to go the distance.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident with the Natalia Silva pick, and I'm saying that now and just watch her now go and lose. But anyway, I'm pretty confident with that pick, so I think I'm gonna just go Natalia Silva by decision at my parlay.
If I remember correctly, did Rose Namajunas use a lot of wrestling against Miranda Maverick? I can't remember if she did.
I can't remember, yeah, but I don't know why, but I feel like I have a memory of the wrestling in that fight, yeah.
Yes, I think Maverick was holding her own in the striking and forced Rose to actually wrestle with her. So that's just an interesting thing, because Rose does a very good job, better than Grasso, in eliminating distance. So, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of when she gets there, can she be successful when she gets into that range? Does she shoot? Does she go for the boxing? I feel like if she goes for the boxing, Natalia's going to get out of the way. She's gonna evade it. You know what I mean? That's Natalia's best weapons is her evasiveness and the ability to stay away from danger.
Yeah, agreed, bro. Agreed. All right, then we'll go to the opening bout of the main card here. It is, of course, Arnold Allen coming up against J.R. Silva. We were talking a little bit about possibly wanting to put Arnold Allen on your parlay before we went on air, bro. So what can you tell us here?
Yeah, the reason why I went with Arnold Allen is because, dude, like, this was the guy that I was really looking forward to watch his growth in the UFC. But I think since the loss against Max Holloway, the frequency was too low. You know, the amount of fights he had since that fight was only 2, and that was 2023. So, you know what I mean? We're 2026 now, or at least the beginning, and this is his first fight back, or his first, since 2024. 2 fights in 2024, or 0 fights in 2025. That concerned me, and I was like, oh, where's my guy? Because he's got talent, dude. The man can knock you out. He's a well-rounded athlete. He can strike, he can grapple, he's got jiu-jitsu. He's a very well-coached fighter. And I think that on paper, the resume, fight style, what kind of fighters they are, the build of the guys, Allen, in my opinion, wipes Jan Silva off the face of the earth easy, bro. Like, it's not even a game for him, because Jan Silva, I don't know if he can give you more than 2 rounds. The fight style that he does, it's just chaos all the time, and he's a bit patient in the beginning, but like he doesn't what's what I'm looking for? He doesn't work his way to the knockout shot. He patiently gets in there, and then there's a right hand, and now the fight starts. Now it's all just chaos. One of us is gonna go out here. Allen, in my opinion, is a lot more experienced than that. He's grown leaps and bounds from that. It's not that kind of. In fact, he never was that kind of fighter. He's more of a textbook kind of guy. You know, do things with the perfect technique all the time, right game plans, perfect strategy. He's that kind of fighter, and I think that most people forget, man. This Arnold Allen didn't get the fight against Max Holloway because there was no one to fight. The man went on a streak to get there. There was like a 7 or 8 fight streak to get to that point, taking out big names in the division of the time. Right? Only really losing. I mean, they beat Dan Hooker, Calvin Keita. The only losses he's got against Max Holloway and Mabza Ifloif.
Yeah.
Let's think for a second. You know what I'm saying? He's fought a lot more experienced fighters. That will, like I keep saying all week, iron sharpens iron. So he has to be the better fighter, right? But again, that's all on paper. When they get in there, it's a different ball game. So far, not many fighters have been able to deal with Jean Silva's madness in the octagon. Diego Lopez is equally as mad as he, and that's why he's able to take him out. You know what I'm saying? Arnold Allen, I don't know if he's got that sort of the demon in him. He's gonna need that if you're gonna fight against someone like Jean Silva. But I initially went with Arnold Allen because I find him he's the better fighter. You know, overall stats, he's the highest stat fighter for me. And I feel like his experience should definitely. And he's not even that old, bro. I think he's 29 or something like that. But so many fights already against top tier guys, I feel like that's going to be the key factor to carry him over this fight. Because let's be frank, what are you worrying about John Silva for? Like, what's the biggest things you're going to be scared of him, or things you have to be concerned for, besides knockout power?
I mean, he has also shown to have a decent submission grappling. I think he's sub Bryce Mitchell.
But Bryce Mitchell, I watched that sequence over and over. Bryce Mitchell didn't do a very good job at defending that. He basically did an amateur thing by giving him the neck by trying to get off the bottom. So it was like, and we know that these thug jiu-jitsu is better than that. He doesn't jiu-jitsu in that kind of way. Arkansas is a much better grappler than what we saw against John Silva. So I would even argue that Bryce Mitchell didn't fight that fight with a pure mind. So he performed sort of weird. You know what I mean?
He was going crazy, yeah.
That's just the reality, bro. And Allen, let's be honest about it. Like, I don't think he's been finished in the UFC. I don't think anyone knocked him out yet. You know what I mean? He's a beast, bro. He's an absolute beast. I think he's gonna. I think the competent way of which Allen fights, right? Meaning that he can use the full duration of a round. You know what I mean? He's not the kind of guy who I can't remember seeing Allen being caught up in a brawl. He's too smart for that. You know what I mean? He's just too smart for that kind of fight. So I think, and John Silva has shown me that when a fighter fights him with technique and strategy and patience and shot selections on point, then John Silva struggles, bro. And Diego Lopez only knocked him out because Diego Lopez had to realize, I can't keep going back and forth here and swinging with this, bro. And to get back into my jab, establish my range, and I'll knock this man out and time him, and I'll knock him out. And that's what he did. That's why I got Arnold Allen beating him as well.
It's a big call there, PG. Arnold Allen, starting as the 3.25 underdog. How does he get the job done for you?
I would say decision, but I can see him finishing John Silva purely because John Silva fights like that. He fights in a way where he presents opportunities for you to beat him, knock him out. Either you knock him out by landing a big shot in the exchange, or you knock him out because he's adrenaline dump. He doesn't have any energy left, and now you can actually go and finish him.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Diego Lopez fight really did expose a lot of the holes in his game. So please worked on some of that. And he's starting as the betting favorite here, though, and quite overwhelming favorite, in fact. So the bookies
I'm shocked
for him to most likely, finish Arnold Allen. Yeah, that seems to be the most likely outcome according to the bookies. And like you said, Arnold Allen never been finished, so that's a very interesting call. But all right, then, ladies and gentlemen, we will now move to the prelims. We'll briefly just have a quick run through of the prelims, and then we'll get to those parlay picks. Of course, what everybody is waiting for. hopefully Jedi Knight can still join us before we get
Yeah, I
to
was
the
just
picks.
gonna
But
say that.
PG, just any fights that I mean, there's quite a few here, but give us your main fights to look out for. What's your biggest fight on the prelims? Yeah, is it the featured
No
bout?
prelims.
Mm,
Yeah, I would say the main event of that prelims is the biggest one because of it's the star power. It's a former champion versus a title contender, top ranked bantamweight. The winner here basically puts himself back into title contention again. Not that
mm.
Umar never left, but I mean it's that's what's at stake in this fight. This could easily have been a co-main event of any other fight card. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So that fight for me is definitely caught my attention.
Yeah, I was saying to you earlier about how shit the odds are for Umar Nurmagomedov. So there you can see 1.06. So you have to choose a method of victory here if you want to get some value. So Umar by decision looking like the most likely outcome there. What are your thoughts there, BG?
Yes, the reason why I agree with that is because stylistically it's a nightmare matchup for Figueiredo. Right? Umar Nurmagomedov is a very well-rounded athlete, sharp striking, also front and back foot. Whether he's on the defense or whether he's going forward, he's very sharp at that. Um, Grappling wise, he's also extremely high level. You know what I mean? He's got the Dagestani wrestling. The name is there. We've seen it in his fights. The dude's a beast. And the biggest factor in this fight is that Figueiredo going up into bantamweight hasn't been able to knock people out really. I mean, who was it? The last guy he knocked out was Cody. So and Cody Garbrandt has been fluctuating between flyweight and between bantamweight and flyweight. Um, Figueiredo, since moving up, hasn't been able to translate that same power going over, which means it made him become vessel heavy, a little bit of a decision merchant, if you will, right? Having to secure rounds on athletes or on opponents. Now, I don't know if you can do that to Magomedov because, let's be honest, Magomedov, you can't really take him down, right? That's a big, big thing. I don't know if Figueiredo
Unless
can
you
take him
Marab, bro.
unless you Marab.
Bob with the takedowns.
Right? That's the one thing. The second thing would be striking wise, I find Magomedov striking to be a little bit more dynamic, dynamic than Davison. Davison Figueiredo is a heavy puncher, good spinning back kick on him, but but that's like really his biggest kicks that he will throw because it requires a lot of energy and he's a very muscle bound fighter, so he can't really throw a lot of heavy shit. So he has to sort of time for one punch kind of knockout things to happen. But the Magomedov is too dynamic. He moves around really well. He's got sharper and faster boxing for me. He's got a good high kick, whether it's question mark, whether it's a stab kick. He can throw it in different iterations with the front leg. I feel like that keeps him safe. Also brings him a lot of his wins. That sets up a lot of his punches and kicks and takedowns. I just feel like overall, whether he finishes Davison and Figueiredo, which I don't think he will be able to, but I think he will be able to like, just bag every single round here. He will win every round against Davis.
Yeah, agreed. I'm thinking about possibly adding the Magomedov by decision to my parlay. Might as well.
I got him.
Looking up like some good value there.
Yeah.
But alright in BG. We'll go back to the prelim page here. Another guy who's like terribly priced is Gautier. He's at 1.10. So again, you have to choose a method of victory. And the bookies are saying that KO TKO. I mean, honestly, bro, not even worth betting on. It's so poorly priced. Even if you choose a method of victory, it's just not even worth looking at. I don't think. So yeah, from a betting perspective, there's not really too much to gain here. But what are your thoughts, PG?
Yeah, I'm looking at him because I was like, on this fight card, can I really pick at least 1,000% lock? Someone that I know is not going to lose the fight, right? And that's unfortunately Ateba Guti. I say unfortunate because it's not his fault that the UFC keeps feeding him, high schoolers, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at these 4 fights in the UFC, bro, it's nobody. He's fighting nobody. He's fighting guys that he can fight with an eye patch. He can go in there with one eye. He can go in there with one eye behind his back and still win. You know what I'm saying? So I think that enough, for me personally, enough of the build-up states. Like, we've seen enough knockouts to his money scary. I would have said, I'm going to go kick off the year with a banger. Atabe Gutierrez versus Gregory Robocop Rodriguez. Bang, let's go. That should have been the
Yeah,
fight. That
that
would have
should have
been
been the fight there.
because then Gutierrez wouldn't have to worry about being wrestled because he obviously wants to keep striking. Gregory Rodriguez is going to keep striking with you, and he also has knockout power and he's a very good boxer. And I feel like that would have been a good test for him because now he's fighting another guy that he's going to do what Dagestani wrestling with him. Like, I don't know if I can see it happening in this fight, but yeah, the only thing I can really go with is because he's the only big lock on the card, which means it's safe
Yeah.
money if you put him in a parlay. Even though it's only 1.16 for us, it's still an extra 1.16 you can add to an overall odd list. That's gonna guarantee that 1.16. You know what I mean? Could have been more, but it's a guaranteed
Yeah.
win.
Parlay fodder definitely, but yo, poor. Even by KO.
Literally.
Yo, okay.
Unless we make another side bet, just put in like a 5 rand on Andre Pulayev to get the win.
Nah, again, bro, we don't let the market dictate to us our picks, bro.
Here we go. Here we go.
So yeah, that's very important, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody watching, don't let the market dictate the picks you make. It's always better to make your picks before you see the odds.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's how they get you. But anyway, bro, that's enough school for one day. Do you have any other thoughts on Nikita Krylov? Maybe I know you
I
probably
like
want to
the
talk
fight.
about the Johnsons, yeah.
Yeah, I like that fight between Nikita Krylov and Mateusz Bukauskas. But I can't make a pick again because I must be honest. The last 3 fights for Nikita Krylov, where I was like, he's gonna win, he gets KO'd. So yeah, I don't know if he's gonna get the job done yet. And Mateusz Bukauskas had a good closing to 2025 for him, so he's on a rise, and that should be a very good fight. Someone's gonna get KO'd in that fight, in my opinion. Early prelims, I think the Charles Johnson Alex Perez is also a hell of a fight, guys. Perez, I feel like this is the level of fighters where you can stand a chance to win. I think if you look at the flyweight division and once you go above number 10 or number 9 upwards, like Perez struggles from there. I think that's where he gets beaten all the time. And a nice fighting someone that's actually within his competition level. Charles Johnson, on the other hand, although I find him to actually be even to Perez now only, that's only because he's on the rise, right? He's also gone on a good streak, got some good KOs, he's looking a lot more confident in his fight game. And I feel like because of Alex Perez being also a boxing heavy fighter, that fight's gonna be fireworks. Someone's also gonna be going down there in that fight. So hopefully we get another finish on that fight as well. I know Jedi was talking about Charles Johnson. I think
Yeah.
that fight's more close than what we think. I think Charles Johnson's gonna be tested here. But I do believe he has stuff to beat Alex Perez. Perez is a little bit of a since losing to Figueiredo, he has never really gotten back to what he had, but that brought him to the dance again. Michael Johnson taking on Alexander Hernandez. That's another even fight for me purely because of the same reasons. Hernandez is like Charles Johnson. Hernandez is the one that's coming up again, even though he's been around the block for quite some time. You know, haven't really had a full success as a good run. It's been a roller coaster. But that same thing I'm said for Michael Johnson as well. And for Michael Johnson, why I find this fight to be more even, Michael Johnson, on paper, is the better fighter. He's the better technique. He's the stronger guy. He's got better boxing. If you watch the guys fight, you'll be like, yo, Johnson's like light years ahead of him. But Michael Johnson only has 1 round. He only has 5 minutes in him. And I find that if Hernandez fights the way he's been fighting in the last 2 fights, I think he gets Johnson in round 2 or 3. But that's going to be a fun fight to watch because we're going to see a bit of the old school throw down there. And then the only other fight on the fight card that really piqued my interest was the bantamweight bout at the bottom of the card between Ricky Tercius taking on Cameron Smotherman. I think that's going to be a fun fight, a bit of a worldie, if you will. That's going to be a good one. I think both guys are going to come in and create fireworks because that's how they fight. Ricky Tercius is an absolute bulldog in there, and Cameron Smotherman has had a good sort of. Even the fights he had lost in the UFC, it was still good fights. He put on good showings, and I think this year might be a year where we could see the growth of Smotherman. So keep a lookout for that. But that fight's going to be fun to watch. But I'm not putting any money on that one.
Fair play, brother Gaia. Fair play. And that is, of course, the fight card. A little bit of breakdown for you guys. But now it's time for us to get into the business end of the show, BG. We're going to get those parlay picks up on the screen.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're just gonna basically, I think, give us the rationale behind some of your picks here, bro. So I'll start with your locks. It was pretty poorly priced, but like you said, these are the locks. You got Wimbledon and the Magneto go there all on the money line, 1.65, which is minus 154.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
the
we
music might
pretty
be
much
loud.
covered it here. Um,
I think the
but
music might be loud, Eddie. Sorry, because your audio was dipping a lot there.
okay.
But so you were saying just
Yeah,
something
look, I
about
think I think it's pretty much like we've spoken about it now. These are pretty much guidance. I think the biggest like the one that could break the parlay for me would be Paddy Pimblett.
yeah.
But again, I think even that is quite safe money, honestly. So, guys, these I would definitely agree with BG's parlay here in terms of absolute locks. For me, I might add Natalia Silva as someone who I think is going to be a lock here. But yeah, I think these three are absolute locked on.
Yes.
So yeah,
yes.
that's fair enough. BG
Most confident one, yeah.
It does get a bit more interesting here with your props. So you can just walk us through that on screen now.
All right, awesome. So if you can, obviously, if you're looking at the props on screen, you'll notice that it's mainly just speaking about method of wins for the most confident parlay that Eddie just showed before this one. But I wanted to play Paddy Pimblett for sub. The reason being is because that's his bread and butter, and I find that his fight style creates those moments. Think about a lot of his fights. He doesn't necessarily like to strike for too long before he starts taking you down and looking for subs and looking for ground and pounds. And Justin Gaethje, apart from being KO'd only once in the UFC, I think it was, I need to remind myself, but I think he mainly losses was coming from subs. Like Khabib, Charles Dubronco, and then Gaethje, Dustin Poirier was the only one who actually KO'd him, didn't he? Dustin Poirier.
Of course, Max KO'd him as well.
Max KO'd him also pretty badly. But I don't know if Paddy KOs Dustin. I think Justin. I think Paddy would be able to possibly get a TKO, but he would have to take him down first, right? But I went to sub because I think that's what Paddy's probably gonna do to make a statement here. I think he's gonna fight in a way so that he gets to that path. That's where he wants the fight to go, is to get to that sub, not to get a knockout. Because Paddy doesn't fight that way. And then the Magomedov by decision, purely because Davis Figueiredo is that kind of guy that you just can't. No one's knocked him out in this division. He's moving up. He's fighting bigger guys that's much bigger than him, and they all couldn't put him away. And two of the best strikers in the division landed big shots in him, and they couldn't put him away. So I don't know if Umar Nurmagomedov's striking has got the same kind of pop the way Piotr Jan and Corey does. But Nurmagomedov's striking does guarantee or garner him a lot of points because he's so good at it, and he keeps him distance in such a way that you can't really tag him. And if you want to get on him aggressively, he's taking you down, bro. So I think a lot of the avenues in this fight is moving towards Nurmagomedov getting the win there by decision, in my opinion. And then Waldo Cortez or Costa by TKO or KO. Reason being is because it's first a heavyweight fight. Both guys primarily want to get the knockout. That's him and Derek Lewis. The only thing that makes me worry about him not getting the KO is if Derek Lewis lays on him for 2 rounds. Survives the first round, lays on him for 2 rounds. Round 2 and round 3 lays on him, and then we don't get KO. But if the fight keeps standing for as long as it does, I think Costa gets the KO purely because the only way Lewis gets the KO is if he hunts Costa down. And if he hunts Costa down, playing into his hand. And that's where Costa gets a lot of his knockouts. He's from counter-striking positions. And that is why I got Costa winning by KO. And I think it gives us good odds. 6.29 is very good odds. I think you put like a 10 rand or $30 down on that, you sorted.
Let's go PG. Nicely done there, bro. Okay, we'll move on now. Unfortunately, Jedi unable to join us live this evening, but he was nice enough to leave us an absolute long shot here. Gotta get the rifle out for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Very long shot parlay. He's got both of the Johnsons, Gauthier, Magomedov, O'Malley, and Pimblett all on the money line at 25.99. That's plus 6,500. So yeah, Jedi did leave a few other instructions, but they were very difficult to decipher because I don't know what decision or submission means. So you know.
Yeah.
But
So
on
you
the
weren't
money
sure.
line, I think those are the odds are fine there, bro. So that's our long shot parlay courtesy of Jedi Knight. Give thanks, give thanks. Um, any thoughts there, BG?
Yeah. The two Johnsons, bro.
Yeah,
That's the biggest Louis
I know
parlay.
one Johnson is the favorite. I think
Michael.
Michael Johnson's the dog.
Ah,
Then Charles Johnson's the favorite.
that's based on their last performances. Charles Johnson got a KO and Michael Johnson got KO'd. And then
So,
that's why they're
there you
basing
go.
it like that. I think it's closer than that, to be honest with you. I don't think it's that cut and dry. They're both Johnsons are in for a fight. Let's just put it that way. They're both in for a
Let's
fight.
go. Well, hopefully they fight for the money, bro. They
I'm not
can
sure
fight
if
for the
Jed
money.
meant that this was for straight money line or if he was. Oh, he didn't choose method of victory. He was just suggesting either or.
Yeah, there was too many slashes in his pick, so I just went money line. But again, it's really really nice odds there on the money line. So shout out
Yeah.
again to Jedi Knight. Got DSBV in the chat. Shout out DSBV. No odds yet. They come late, but I'm looking to see what Sugar Sean most significant strikes are on pin, but most strikes are those usually come to bet 365 on Friday. Give thanks DSBV coming to us from the future. Yeah, we don't get that prop, bro. We don't get significant strikes on our site. So, but yeah, I think that's a very good shout nonetheless. Thanks for that, bro.
Yeah, we only get
Um,
significant strikes in terms of how much landed per minute. We don't
and
get to
then
know.
DSBV's going with Thug Rose, bro. As I'm about to give my parlay, we got
And
DSBV.
Lewis and Rose. And Lewis. This
Damn,
is
bro.
wild. This is wild.
Damn, bro. This is
And
crazy. Crazy,
these people,
crazy.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I couldn't make a pick for that fight for Rose and Natalia Silva. And the reason why is because I think it's that close. I think Rose can get the job done, bro. I think if she fights the way she did when she was the champion with that bullish nature, that I am Thug Rose. I think it's gonna be a bit of a difficult fight for Natalia. But at the same time, Natalia has really skated away from everybody. Everyone
Yeah.
can touch her. Like no one, even that power. She couldn't land a single shot on her, bro.
She runs
that's a
away
big
a lot, bro.
That's why
Here
she
we go,
keeps winning.
Jedi Knight. We were just talking about
Yeah, how's it?
we were just talking about your long shot parlay, bro.
Sorry, I'm
Maybe
so late.
give us
bro.
some-
Swallow with the child.
Tell us about your tell us
Oh,
about
yeah.
your parlay
What
here
about
bro,
it?
on screen. DSBV.
Yeah, I think those are the picks that I feel are most probable. Now you guys are talking about Natalia Silva and Rose Namajunas. Obviously, I'm a big Rose fan for a long time. And Natalia's also good. She's obviously of this new generation fighters. I just think that she's like, I'm not a fan of her style. I think she runs away a lot.
She does. That's
does,
a game,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm not, too big on that. She does, but she's a very kind of, doesn't like to engage a lot unless it's like just in and out.
Yes.
And kind of just
some point,
circles, lateral movement, and that's that. But yeah, for more about these picks, so I'm going on my picks. I had Michael Johnson as the first one. I think he's fighting Alex Hernandez, who's also kind of on the back foot. They're both kind of old school barn burner dudes from way back. But I think Michael Johnson is just going to general him. Obviously, Alex's ways to win is to take him down. And I think he's going to have a tough time taking Michael Johnson down, especially because he's so tall and he does have a wrestling background. I think his takedown defense is liquor also. And I think that Michael Johnson is not afraid of Alex Hernandez. So I think he's going to sleep him maybe in the second round. Then we go, in my opinion, he's not. He's like not. He's not a top 5 guy anymore. He's kind of on his way out, just like Alex Hernandez. So I'm going double Johnson against double Alex, bruh. For the wins. And then Atiba, the Cameroon guy, is obviously
Yeah.
one of these knockout dudes who's come on the scene that's just absolutely starching the dudes, inside of like 1 or 2 rounds. So I think obviously the smart money would be with a knockout win for the Cameroonian.
Yeah.
Jedi, did you see the odds?
Who's he fighting again?
Did you see the odds?
He's fighting Andre
Have I
Pulayev.
seen the odds? Have I seen
at
my
this.
odds?
Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah,
Gautier by KO TKO.
I've seen
It's
the odds
dirt.
on Betway.
It's absolute dirt, bro.
Hey, who's this?
Gautier by KO.
That's
Look at
1.1.
that.
Yeah, I know. That's the most. So what is it? 1 point what? 1.8?
1.16.
1.16, brother.
1.16. Yo,
Yeah.
total sport tech. Nah. Yo, that's
Total
not
sport.
a good odds. Oh no, that's not a good odds. On Betway, it was quite good. I think I got it at like 1.8.
Okay.
You betting on
If you
total
guys are
sport?
betting on Betway, check it on Betway there. And then, so I mean, that alone would tell you that there's going to be a knockout there for the Cameroonian.
Yeah.
That's what they're kind of predicting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a layup.
The other one, who we got after that? Then there's some good ones, you know what I mean? There's this Davidson Figueiredo, Nagomedov fight. Obviously, the Rose fight has got good odds. I feel like the Derek Lewis fight is also one that might be a surprise. But if you want to go with good money, then I would go with O'Malley and Paddy.
Ooh, let's go.
Let's go,
Let's
Jedi.
go.
man.
O'Malley and
Keep it
Paddy.
How do you think they get it
To be
done?
honest, bro. I think that's what. Hey,
How do you think they
I
get it
think
done?
O'Malley's obviously. Oh, yeah. Somebody just jumped a red robot in front of me. Bro. What a Malnai. What a sick badger. How did they get it done? I think O'Malley decision victory, just kind of unanimous winning. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be up to Song to kind of make it his kind of fight, but it's very difficult against a guy who's got such good footwork and movement, and he's very elusive. You know what I mean? So I think O'Malley's gonna, if he catches him, if he starts off nice and fast in the first round or two, he can probably knock him out, but it's probably going to be a decision for me. O'Malley decision or KO. Don't know how you guys want to play that. And then in the main event, I think Paddy by sub, probably like third round.
That's what PG's called us was for something. But yeah, let's go, Jedi. Some really reasonable picks there, I'd say. Let us know, chat. Didn't really get to the point here, but DSPV in the chat saying host for triple your money count, man. It's actually 4 times your money on our bookie, DSPV. So
On what?
make that what you will.
Those to win 4
Okay.
times your money. That's mad odds.
Okay.
They really counting
Yeah,
out.
pretty cool. I mean,
All right, chaps.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good fights on this card.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a
Yes.
lot of good underdogs to bet on as well. You know, like old school underdog. Figueiredo is one to bet on. You might get lucky there. Derek Lewis, Tug Rose, Michael Johnson. All these old school dudes, I think, are priced in a way that if you want to put, just a little bit there for a 3-way multi, you could end up with like an 8-1.
Yeah, easily. Probably higher than that. If
I
you
would
put
say
Doug
add
Rose on.
Arnold Allen into that as a betting underdog.
Yeah, he's a very good dog.
Arnold
also.
Allen.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, that's another one, bro. Arnold Allen also is priced very good against a guy who's only been in the UFC for 2 years and hasn't really, other than his last fight when he lost against somebody.
Diego
Who
Lopez.
did he lose again? He lost again, and that was like his first real test where he
Yeah.
got beat. Otherwise, all the other guys he knocked out in first or second round. You know what I mean? So Arnold is going to be another good test for him, and I feel like people are just the bookies are just giving Arnold a bit of a raw deal here, only because he lost against top guys. He lost against Max, Alex,
Mm.
that Mexican kid, and
Evloev.
Yair Rodriguez. You know what I mean? That's my title dude.
Wait.
Yeah.
He only lost
So yeah,
3
Arnold
fights.
Allen can still
lost-
just run out the fire.
He only lost to Max and Evlo Eve.
Yeah.
He didn't lose to anybody else. The other fights he lost
Ivloev, that's the beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Decision
fight
was
Alex.
it, brother. The decision was it.
He only lost to those guys. He didn't lose. He only had 2 losses in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like
And
13
it's
or
against
14 fights.
very high caliber guys.
Yeah.
But all right then, boys. Let me get to my
So I mean,
parlay.
I would put in the side bet for those. Hey,
No go,
you
Jedi.
may go. Sorry. Nah,
Okay.
I was gonna say I'm definitely gonna put in a side bet on those underdogs that I mentioned, including
Oh, yeah.
Arnold Allen. I think
Yeah.
that it's a bit. I don't know if you're on training, but it's a bit weird to see them price so well. I mean, you know, the last time I saw a
Yeah.
dude price so well was Henry Cejudo, and he disappointed me very badly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So say all of
we are
us.
betting guys, and that's why we love the sport.
Let's go. All right, bro. Thanks, Jedi. I'm gonna go to my parlay to clear. We will probably very likely be making a few live bets on the live stream. Be sure to join us for that one. That's the
Audio 80.
AM South Africa's time. Right?
Yeah. Sorry, your audio was gone there.
Yeah, I lost you guys there.
Yeah, I also lost 80 there for a second.
Anyway, here's my parlay, boys. Costa versus Lewis not to go the distance. Natalia
Lekker,
Silva
man.
to win by decision, and Paddy Pimblett on the money line. It's 2.74 plus 175 in Vegas odds. I'm pretty confident with those picks, boys.
Nice.
But yeah, we will get a bit degenerate on
Lekker.
stream.
Okay.
So be
Yeah,
sure to tune
nice.
into that.
Yeah,
But these
I
are the
will-
locks.
If you make it to the stream.
We'll see. Is my
Yeah,
birthday
no,
on
that's
Saturday, so.
pretty good bet there, bruh. I would agree with Natalia Silva decision. What was the other decision?
It's just Pimblett on the money line.
No other decision. Yeah, just the one.
Costa versus Lewis not to go the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are just a reminder that we will, of course, be making some live bets on the stream. So we'll just do a quick recap of our parlay picks, PG's absolute locks here. Pimblett, the Magomedov, and Gauthier all on the money line, 1.65 at minus 154. PG's prop bets, Pimblett by sub, the Magomedov by decision. Cortez Acosta by KO TKO 6.29 at plus 529. Jedi's long shot parlay from way left field. Michael Johnson, Charles Johnson, Gauthier, and Magomedov, Marion Pimblett, all on the money line. 25.99. That's plus 2,500. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I just want to say this. I'm not saying to the people in the chat there, you have to play this whole bet slip. I'm saying these are the picks who I think is most probable to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to play them all. And
Yeah.
also for the people in the chat, if anyone is betting on the boxing or the footy this weekend, please give us some tips there in the chat. And also if you have any hot picks
We
on
need them,
anything, ice hockey, basketball, tennis,
Overtime will be
please
there.
drop it. Golf. Please drop it there in the chat, boys.
On
Let's
Friday,
go.
overtime will be there and drop it.
Give thanks. And then finally, like I said, Costa versus Lewis for me not to go the distance.
And yeah, just
Natalia Silva by
bet,
decision.
play
Pimblett on the money
your
line.
money responsibly.
Shot Jedi. All right, boys. Then I think we can basically wrap it up from here. Any final thoughts, BG?
No, dude, let's just make some money this weekend.
Looking
Money,
forward to
money,
it.
money, money.
Jedi Knight, anything you want to say to the people in your sign off here, bro?
Yeah, nah, God bless, guys, and thank you for giving us your time. Um, Obviously, this is the first episode of the Parlay Show of the 26th, and thank you for being with us. Let's make it a winning year, bro. Profitable year.
Let's go, Jedi Knight. TSPV in the chat. I really like Tyshawn Williams from Tough Enough. If you have it, I don't think we have that, but I'll keep an eye out for it because sometimes we get these lines and they come for like an hour or two and then they close. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that. TSPV, give thanks, and yeah, thanks again for all the chats, bro. We really do appreciate it once again. But all right, then we're gonna sign off here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have made it this far in the stream, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Got more content coming, so you can watch the podcast every day. Joe Rogan. PG, just maybe you could tell people what they can still expect this week, and then we can sign off, bro.
Sure, dude. No problem. No, 100%. I think we now it's Wednesday, so we still have one championship Friday fights live on Friday. We have the preview for that Friday fight squad coming out tomorrow, which will be Thursday morning. I might even do a reaction to the weigh-ins because that's where all the meat and potatoes takes place. You know what I mean? That's where we get the real news about who's fighting on that fight night card. Speaking of the fight night card, we'll be live on Saturday morning at 4 a.m. South African time for the one championship, one fight night, fight night 39 fight card. And then on Sunday morning, we will be live for this UFC 324 fight card. So from myself and the Fighting with Friends team, have a good week, gamble responsibly, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys in those 3 lives this weekend. Let's go.